Right now, still recovering 6 months later, how the community of Reedsburg continues to clean up from historic flooding.
Iverson, the fake, hangs and hits.
And the Badgers survive a scare in Columbus. Melissa Kim breaks down what's next for the team. Plus, let the warm-up begin. Dana Fulton has some warm spots in the forecast.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 10.
6 months after historic flooding covered the streets in Reedsburg, the city is still trying to get back to normal. Amy Reed joins us now with how that recovery is going. Amy.
Unfortunately, no matter how fast you go, it's a slow process. 14 people lost their homes in the flooding in Reedsburg, but the city and the people who live there are plugging along, taking lessons learned from last summer and from 2008 into spring. Running water down 2nd Street is unfortunately nothing new for this part of town. And even though this trickle is nothing compared to what it could be, you can't help but be reminded. At least Lewis Hoff can't.
The other thing, every time a storm system is coming through, it's in the back of your mind that, is this going to happen again? He and his wife were one of the luckier ones on the street. But remember, that's relative. They had a twice ruined basement instead of a ruined house like their neighbors. It's completely changed the whole west side here on the north side of 33. But you do what you have to do. I mean, we like the area, just not when it rains a lot. In the past 10 years, his neighborhood has completely changed. Empty lots where homes were lost in '08 and orange signs where homes will be lost this time.
It certainly had a tragic effect on our community then, and it has again in 2018.
Joshua Kowalski is in charge of emergency management in Reedsburg. He's seen this process on the ground from flood to now. And 6 months later, most of the town is back to some sort of normal. But there's still a ways to go for some.
It is a long process. I don't know that I expected it to be done sooner or faster than it is, or, it unfortunately just takes time.
The city is trying to keep residents as involved as they can, holding meetings to talk about the future on streets like Lewis's with officials from FEMA and the state. While some want to see these areas restored as prairie, Lewis said the property should go to the neighbors. But what will actually happen is still to be determined. Perhaps the greater focus is the reminder, not for what they saw, but what might come.
I think we're probably have a little bit of dread and a little bit of optimism put together.
The snow is starting to melt, threatening to do again what's already happened in this neighborhood too much. But with as much as his street has changed, Lewis doesn't want to go.
My wife thinks about moving, but I like it here. I mean, this is our home. This is where we raised our kids.
Reedsburg lost 14 homes this past year, and Lewis won't leave unless his home makes the list next time. But of course, he hopes that day never comes.
Just cross your fingers and hope that we don't have something like that again.
Reedsburg is getting ready for that next potential round of flooding this spring. They're going to have sand so people can sandbag, and they want residents to sign up for Nixle. For that, you can either go online or text your zip code to 888-777. We'll also have that information over on our website as well.
All right, thank you so much, Amy. Let's turn it over to Dana Fulton with your first alert forecast. Dana?
Amanda, right now it is a little chilly outside for us, and it's still a little windy also, but thankfully our Doppler track is calm for us. Yesterday, of course, we saw rain and then sleet and then snow. That's not the case for us tonight. It's going to stay pretty quiet, actually, for us overnight. Just a partly cloudy sky expected throughout much of southern Wisconsin. We're in for a quiet few hours. Your Monday's not looking too bad either. We'll get some sun back in the forecast. Now, today we did hit a high of 36. We held pretty steady in the 30s throughout the afternoon. Overnight, we dropped to about 28. So early this morning, it was still a cold start to the day, but it's going to be even colder for us tonight. As we're at 28 right now, we're expected to fall into the upper teens to start off your Monday. Our breeze is currently coming from the west, about 15 miles per hour in Mineral Point and in Lone Rock, 7 in Madison right now. Those gusts today picking up quite a bit. We saw wind gusts anywhere from 20 to 30, even 40 miles per hour this afternoon. Right now, we're at about 16 miles per hour in Madison, closer to 28 in Milwaukee. Notice the eastern side of the state now seeing the stronger winds. Things are finally going to calm down a little bit with our wind gusts for us overnight. We're not expecting as windy of a Monday, but it is going to be a little colder outside before the warm-up moves in for the middle of the week. That is going to come at the cost, though, with another storm system sliding through. We're going to take a closer look at what's ahead for the work week ahead in just a few minutes.
Thank you so much, Dana. The Wisconsin men's basketball team wrapped up their last regular season game in Columbus this afternoon. Today's game has some implications heading into the Big Ten tournament. Melissa Kim joins us now with a breakdown. Melissa.
Yeah, Amanda, it was not the prettiest of games by any stretch of the imagination, but a win is a win. Wisconsin had to win today in order to snag that 4 seed in the Big Ten tournament, which means they will get that coveted double bye, so they won't have to play their first game until Friday. Now, Ohio State struggled coming into this game, losing 5 of their last 7, but Wisconsin was so up and down in this one. Started off slow, came back and led by 23 points in the second half, and then gave up that lead as the clock wound down at the end of regulation, and the Badgers needed overtime for this win, 73-67 the final. Ohio native Khalil Iverson really blossoming in these last few games down the stretch, had a career day today with 22 points and 14 rebounds. So the next game for Wisconsin, again, Friday afternoon in Chicago. Their opponent is to be determined. Amanda will have much more coming up a little bit later in sports.
All right, thank you so much, Melissa. 157 people were killed when a U.S.-made airliner crashed in East Africa this morning. Among the dead were 8 Americans. The plane was a new Boeing 737 MAX, the same model involved in the Lion Air tragedy in October. CBS's DeMarco Morgan reports.
This field is where Ethiopia Airlines Flight 302 went down on Sunday morning. 149 passengers and 8 crew members were on board. There were no survivors. First responders spent the day scouring the crash site for victims' remains, as well as any clues as to why this happened.
That will obviously rely heavily on the 2 black boxes, the flight data recorder and the cockpit voice recorder.
The plane went down just 6 minutes into its flight to Nairobi, Kenya.
We are very, very saddened. Our heart is broken.
The chief executive of Ethiopia Airlines said the Boeing 737 MAX 8 was new, having been delivered to his company in November.
At this stage, we cannot rule out anything.
In October, another Boeing 737 MAX crashed into the Java Sea off Indonesia, killing 189 people. That tragedy also happened just after takeoff.
Well, I think there has to be a thorough investigation by the FAA and the NTSB as to whether these planes are safe, because there are just too many coincidences.
The U.S. has sent 4 members of the National Transportation Safety Board to Ethiopia to assist in the crash investigation. They'll be joined by a team of technical advisors from Boeing. DeMarco Morgan, CBS News, New York.
The victims came from at least 35 different countries. The identities of the Americans who were on board have yet to be made public. More local news now. Crews in the town of Madison are investigating an apartment fire not far from Fish Hatchery Road. Firefighters responded about 4:15 this afternoon for a fire inside the Parker Place apartments on the 2000 block of Parker Place. They were able to contain the fire to an area of the 2nd floor. 12 people, including 9 children, were displaced. The Red Cross is helping those families. University police say they arrested an 18-year-old student after he hit an officer in the face early this morning. They said Logan Mitchell was urinating in the Whitty residence hall. When he was approached by an officer, he became combative. He continued to fight officers as he was taken to the ground and arrested. The officers involved were not significantly hurt. Mitchell had a blood alcohol level of 0.20 and was cited for underage drinking, possession of a fake ID, and depositing human waste. He is currently in the Dane County Jail facing charges of battery to a police officer and resisting arrest. The Tibetan flag is flying alongside the American flag at the Madison City County building today. Local leaders have declared March 10th as Tibet Day in honor of those who lost their lives 60 years ago rebelling against China's takeover. Our Madeline O'Neill tells us the fight for Tibetan freedom continues right here in Wisconsin.
March 10th is a big day for Tibetans. It's a time to remember, but also to raise awareness and work toward a better future.
Marching every year to come together as a community is super important to me.
Here, about as far from Tibet as you can get.
So we can see our national flag rising today.
You'll find countless Tibetan flags.
In Tibet, we are not able to carry in our national flag. There will be torture and prisons.
Here at the city-county building, those flags are welcomed.
As a remembering the 60 years ago, we lost our country. China has occupied our countries illegally and forcefully.
Though distance and time separate Lobsang Tenzin from his homeland, that doesn't stop the Wisconsin Tibetan Association president and other supporters from fighting for their people's rights.
Our brothers and sisters in Tibet, they are suffering a lot.
Freedoms of religion and speech that Tenzin says are lost under China's rule.
We have a lot of friends here in Wisconsin.
In a state often visited by the Dalai Lama himself, local leaders recognize the 60th anniversary of Tibetan National Uprising Day, when unarmed citizens rose in defiance of Chinese occupation.
Today, 60 years later, Tibetan culture is known and respected worldwide.
On this day, Tibetan supporters honor those who were killed while working to keep Tibetan culture alive across generations.
Social media plays a huge role. I think we are so good at spreading awareness of what's going on in Tibet.
Tenzin Dolma, founder of the local Tibetan Youth Association, hopes others will fly their flag, regardless of who or where they are.
There's this quote by Martin Luther King that says, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." And I think that's really important to remember, is that even though we have freedom here, there are people in other countries that are suffering.
In Madison, Madeline O'Neill, News 3 Now.
The People's Republic of China says it's had control over Tibet since the 13th century, and Tibet's status throughout history is controversial. Local Tibetan leaders are hoping for a compromise with China, not complete independence, but freedoms of religion and culture. The state of Wisconsin first recognized March 10th as Tibet Day in 1997. Coming up on News 3 Now at 10, music lovers looking for the perfect vintage find, how buying records is helping spread the joy of music. Welcome back. The old adage goes, everything that's old becomes new again, making the market for vinyl a hot one. Music lovers young and old turned out in numbers for the 3rd annual vintage vinyl record sale at the Harmony Bar, featuring 15 dealers and private collectors with thousands of records to browse. Several collectors said they have over 10,000 records in their collections and are just looking to downsize.
Records are really back in vogue again. So now you can't sell CDs, now you got to sell records.
Percent of the sales benefit Madison's community radio station, WORT-FM, which broadcasts a mix of music and talk programming. It is Sunday night, so let's take a look at 3 things to look for in the week ahead. Tomorrow afternoon, Representative Mark Pocan will release to the media the results of a Freedom of Information request he filed back in October after 83 people in Wisconsin were arrested by ICE officials. He's hoping this will explain why they were targeted. And the public is invited to give their thoughts about the future of Blue Mound State Park on Tuesday at Mount Horeb Middle School. The DNR is redeveloping their master plan and want to hear from community members. That is Tuesday at 5 o'clock. And on Friday, the State Bar of Wisconsin is teaming up with News 3 Now and WISCPolitics.com to host a debate between Wisconsin Supreme Court candidates. The debate starts at 6:30, and we'll stream that on channel3000.com and air it later in the week on WISC-TV. We could also hit 50 degrees this week. Let's get a look at your first alert weather. Dana Fulton.
We haven't been at 50 in a minute. It's been a little chilly for us to start off our March, the 7th coldest start to March on record in Madison. Now our Doppler track is quiet. Tonight it's going to be just a little chilly, but as we look ahead to the middle of the week, we are planning on milder weather returning, and we may even see our first big spring system slide on through. So again, our Doppler track's quiet, not just for southern Wisconsin, but throughout the northern Midwest. We are seeing a pretty quiet trend for the evening. High pressure off in the plains, sending us this westerly flow. It was gusty outside today. We saw gusts from 30 to 40 miles per hour. Our wind speeds now calming down, our gusts calming down as well for us overnight. Overnight, we'll have a partly cloudy sky. Temperatures will fall to the upper teens to start off your Monday. And then throughout the afternoon, plan on a mostly sunny sky. Don't let the sun deceive you, though. It will be just a little chilly outside. Afternoon highs will be in the mid to low 30s throughout southern Wisconsin for your Monday. By Tuesday, another day with temperatures starting below 20, but afternoon highs will actually get close to 40 for us on Tuesday. Clouds will steadily build in later on in the evening, and then we start to see a few isolated showers for us late Tuesday and heading into Wednesday, as our next system is really going to impact the forecast for Wednesday and Thursday. Looking at our wind gusts overnight, we are steadily dying down, still close to 20 miles per hour though in Madison. By early Monday morning, the stronger wind gusts will be to the eastern side of the state, and by Monday afternoon, most of the gusts are really out of here. May see anywhere from 10 to 15 miles per hour for us around Madison, but that's something that we can't handle. By Wednesday morning, we have light rainfall throughout the area, and we may even see some heavier rainfall and thunderstorms at times coming into Wednesday afternoon and evening. Our showers linger overnight into Thursday. For Thursday, we're looking at light rainfall, again with an isolated thunderstorm certainly possible, but it's not until late Thursday and Friday this system completely moves towards the New England area. All of the moisture pulls along with it, and we steadily transition to a little mix early Friday morning, and we may see a few lingering flurries behind that early on Friday, but most of that moisture will be out of here before your Friday morning commute. Overnight, again, falling into the upper teens. Our winds backing off just a little bit, 8 to 15 miles per hour for us. It is going to be partly cloudy and a little colder outside. By tomorrow afternoon, we'll be close to freezing, so a few degrees cooler than our high today, but we're going to see our wind speeds also back off for us, anywhere from 6 to 12 miles per hour for your Monday afternoon. But a mostly sunny sky is in store, so it'll be nice to have sunshine not only for Monday, but also for Tuesday. We'll have sun throughout the morning and early afternoon on Tuesday, and then variably cloudy skies later in the afternoon and evening as those clouds increase. We start to see a little rain coming through for us at night. Temperatures overnight into Wednesday will hold close to 35 for us in Madison, so really leaning more towards just rain, but there may be some lower lying areas where the temperatures drop just a little more along the Wisconsin River Valley, where we might see a little mix come through. Rain lingering throughout Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Then as we head into next weekend, expecting some sunshine and seasonal weather for us next weekend, and then moseying right on through to the almost end of March for the following week for us. So temperatures are really going to rebound. We're not expecting another major drop like what we had for the last several days. It was a little cold outside for us.
Yeah, definitely. And hearing seasonal weather, that sounds good. Let's get into the next season.
Just be where we're at, or where we're supposed to be at right now.
All right, thank you so much, Dana. Coming up in sports, more from Greg Gard and the Badgers as they head into the postseason.
Okay, so we've been talking about it all week. The Badgers have to win out in order to snag that 4 seed in the Big Ten tournament and get that coveted double bye. And the last piece of that puzzle was at Ohio State this afternoon. This Buckeye squad struggling hard to close out the season, losing 5 of their last 7 games. The Badgers, though, they were slow to start after coming off of a big win against Iowa on Thursday. But Khalil Iverson bringing the team back to life with what else? A shot there. Wisconsin up 7. Khalil led by the Badgers led by as many as 23 points in the second half, but the Buckeyes overcoming that and more. C.J. Jackson nailing a jumper to tie it up at 63, and we are headed to overtime. Iverson again, so much heart in this game, battling under the bucket, the rebound, the putback layup, and the Badgers survive a scare. And afterwards, head coach Greg Gard impressed with his team's efforts.
Really proud of our guys, how we were able to, get it there to overtime and then take control of it in overtime and seal it up. I mean, for this group to do what they've done this year, given the predictions and prognostications, to finish 14-6 and 4th and get the double bye is a heck of an accomplishment for our guys.
Indeed, it is. The Badgers win their 14th conference game for the third time in school history. Ohio native Khalil Iverson leading the way with 22 points and 14 rebounds. Ethan Happ with his 52nd career double-double. So as Coach Gard says, the Badgers will get the double bye. They won't have to play until Friday in the quarterfinals of the Big Ten tournament. Their opponent will be the winner of the game on top there, Maryland or Rutgers or Nebraska. About halfway through the season, we talked to Andy Pankowski about this year's team, and at that point, the Badgers had lost 2 games, which is pretty uncharacteristic of the last few years. But the one thing she emphasized was how facing adversity that early on in the season was a good thing because they grew from it together as a team instead of dealing it later on in the postseason. The Badgers beat Ohio State last night in the WCHA semifinals, aiming for their first title since 2017 today against Minnesota at Ritter Arena in Minneapolis. First period action, Badgers strike first, a rocket from Caitlin Schneider. 1-0, Wisconsin up first, Schneider's 4th goal of the season. In the second, Britta Curl, she's been on fire. The freshman scores her 6th goal in the last 4 games. Wisconsin opening up the gap at 2-0. They're up 2-1 in the third now. Just for good measure, Andy Pankowski, the empty netter, and the Badgers win the WCHA title 3-1 the final score for the 4th time in 5 years. And Pankowski's so proud of the adversity they've overcome.
I'm just super proud of the way people have stepped up this weekend. There's people thrown into roles that they're not normally in, and we had contributions from everyone, and that's really exciting, especially going down the stretch in playoffs. You need everyone. So, yeah, I'm just really proud of this team and the way we battled today.
So what's next? Well, the Badgers are the overall #1 seed in the NCAA tournament. Wisconsin will host Syracuse this Saturday at LeBron Arena. And if they win, they'll face the winner of Clarkson and Boston College in the Frozen Four semifinal. The Wisconsin men losing the decisive game of the best-of-3 series against Penn State in their first game in the NCAA first round in the Big Ten tournament. The Badgers lost in overtime 4-3. Wisconsin finishes the season 14-18-5. Former Badger quarterback Alex Hornibrook has found a new home. He announced it on Instagram today that he will finish his remaining year of eligibility at Florida State. Now, Hornibrook was 26-6 as the Badger starting quarterback for 3 years. He'll graduate from the UW School of Business in May. He finished his career in the top 5 all-time in Madison for passing yards, touchdown passes, completion percentage, and pass efficiency. Hornibrook will be eligible to play right away in Tallahassee. The Seminoles right now, they only have 1 quarterback on scholarship on their roster. And we also have boys state basketball coming up this week at the Kohl Center. So again, it's a busy time of year for us.
Busy time for sports.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be right back. Thanks. So it looks like it's going to start feeling like spring, but with some thunderstorms.
It's going to come along with the spring system, of course. When we see a little bit of warm up, we're going to get the rain with it. Now, tomorrow is going to still be a little chilly for us for Monday. Thankfully, though, we got a lot of sunshine in the forecast for Monday. Tuesday, we get closer to average. Temperatures will be in the low 40s for afternoon highs on Tuesday, increasing clouds throughout the day, and then some light rain, maybe even a little mix north of Madison starting to move in late Tuesday, and we're going to continue to see rain and isolated thunderstorms throughout Wednesday and into Thursday. By next weekend, though, temperatures will moderate. We'll get closer to 40, and we'll get some sunshine in for both days as well. But yeah, that system coming in on Wednesday and Thursday could bring anywhere from 1 to 2 inches of rainfall, and we certainly don't need any more right now.
Definitely not. All right, thanks so much for joining us. Have a great night.